Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to Phoenix Point Backer Build 5. Before I go any further, full disclosure, I work for Snapshot Games, the developer of Phoenix Point, so anything that I say positively about this game should be considered a biased opinion, though those of you who know me know that I generally say what I speak, so I'm not even against criticising or pointing out errors with a product that I am associated with, but wanted to be honest and upfront about that. In case you don't know what Phoenix Point is a turn-based tactical combat and strategy game by Julian Gollop, who is the creator of the original XCOM series from 1994 onwards. So that was XCOM UFO or UFO Enemy Unknown, depending on which country you were in, Terror from the Deep and Apocalypse. And that series kind of went dormant for a while because these sort of turn-based tactical games sort of fell out of popularity. And the license rights to the XCOM IP changed hands a few times over the next 20 years until they ended up with Take-Two Interactive, 2K, and their subsidiary Firaxis Games, the guys who are responsible for the Civilization series. They then made the first XCOM reboot in 2012 and XCOM 2 in, I want to say, 2016. And they were really good because they introduced a lot of people back to the turn-based tactics genre. And they were a little bit simplified compared to the original games. They took the granular sort of action point system, the time unit system, and diluted it down to 2 actions per turn. The shooting mode was simplified to a more sort of board game-like dice roll and statistics game. Inventory management was all but completely removed. Base management was reduced to a single base. And Phoenix Point is sort of a spiritual successor to those original XCOM games and hopes to sort of bridge the gap between those, like the old games and the new games, and sort of find a nice little comfortable ground in the middle. So Backer Build 5 is the latest early access, which comes out tomorrow, Tuesday the 3rd of September, if you are watching this the day that the video gets published. And this is technically a beta. I mean, normally a beta is completely feature complete, but this still has a few placeholders in. There are some things we've deliberately omitted from this build, such as the single player campaign and story, because we want to keep that as a surprise. We don't want to spoil it ahead of time. It doesn't have all of the soldier customization in it. It's something that we're working on. We've got all of the assets, but we're still putting all of that together. And we've been doing a lot of work on the UI, which is still a work in progress. So you're bound to see like little bugs and glitches and typos and things like that. But that is all perfectly normal. We've got 3 months to sort all of those things out ahead of the release in December. So let's go ahead and start a new game. And if you've played one of the previous backer builds or seen any videos of it, you will see that we now have some new options when we start a new game. We can select our difficulty and we can enable a tutorial. Now the tutorial still isn't complete, and at the moment it's just basically some pop-ups with some text. There's no voiceover or anything like that for them. That's all going to be done later on, but it will sort of guide you through getting started. If you have played the game before, you can choose not to do the tutorial and jump straight into a sort of a sandbox game. Obviously the single player game currently is always sandbox because there's no campaign, there's no story. But what I would suggest is, if you haven't played Backer Build 5 before, do enable the tutorial, because there are lots of new things added and new mechanics, and it's a good way to sort of get to grips with them. So we are going to load into a new game. Now we haven't done a lot of optimization yet, so some of the loading times might be a little bit long. I'm not going to edit any of them out here because, you know, you can see how long they are. I'll just leave them sort of running. But here we are, a world in chaos. Welcome to the Phoenix Point tutorial. The old world is no more. The Arctic permafrost has melted, unleashing a deadly virus, claiming billions of lives and causing billions more to mutate into mindless aberrations. The remaining survivors have gathered together in havens throughout the world, hoping the infection won't reach them there. We are the Phoenix Project, all that is left of an organisation dedicated to ensuring humanity's survival. It is time to rise from the ashes. So here we are at the Geoscape. The Geoscape represents the current world and all known locations. You can access it at any time by clicking the Geoscape tab, which is down here at the bottom left corner. And we can left click and drag to rotate, and we can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. This is the Manticore. The Manticore is our transport aircraft. The crew of the Manticore is displayed in the aircraft panel below. We can center on the aircraft using the middle mouse button or clicking on the aircraft image. So we have it down here at the bottom, and as you can see, we have a heavy, a sniper, 3 assault guys, and we've got space for 1 more person in the Manticore. To move, left click on a location on the globe and then select the move action, and the orange circle shows the maximum movement range. We can, of course, also right click to move. So we have our objective here, which is to go to an unexplored site, which is one of these 2 question marks that we can see. Either one is fine. This is our Phoenix base where we start. All of these buttons along the bottom are all sort of greyed out to start with because they're disabled for the tutorial. We have 200 tech currently. Tooltip for that is broken. We have 2,500 materials. We have 500 food, and we're using 5 food because we have 5 soldiers. Our soldiers are taking up 5 of 8 spaces in our barracks. We currently have 0 ground vehicles, but we have space for 2. We have 1 of 1 possible aircraft, and we're taking up 56 of our 200 storage space. So we'll select the Manticore, and we can pick either one of these points of interest. Let's go to the one over to the east here. You can see the globe after the permafrosts have melted. Parts of Japan have gone underwater here. A lot of the sort of Spice Islands. Not sure what that island is there off New Zealand, but it's very much underwater with the look of things. Parts of the coast of Africa have started to submerge. Denmark's gone. Most of the Netherlands is gone. The east of Great Britain is gone. There's Florida's missing there. Huge parts of South America all underwater. And as always with a new game of Phoenix Point, whenever you start, the starting locations are procedurally generated. Last time I did this, I was in South America. We are now over here in, I guess, is this still part of China this far south? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's in this is the Himalayas, I think. Terrible at geography, so I'm not the best person to ask, but let us go to that first point of interest. It'll automatically unpause the clock, but we can pause it manually. We can adjust the speed over here as well. So we're going to land at this point of interest. We are going to click on it, and we have the option to explore. We also have the option to deploy, but that's grayed out at the moment because we don't have an active mission there. So as we explore, that will start the clock running. We can pause and unpause, as I said. We can also speed up and slow down time. So we'll wait until that has been fully uncovered. And we can see here that we have a scavenging site. So the enemies on scavenging sites try to destroy crates with supplies in them, and we want to recover these, so we want to try and stop the enemy from doing that. We can see that the threat level is low. The light level is day, so nice clear lines of sight. The enemy is Pandoran. Pandorans are basically the mutations created by the Pandora virus. The reason they're listed here is because there'll be many times in Phoenix Point where you'll be fighting human enemies as well from the other factions, New Jericho, Disciples of Anu, Sanhedrin, and some non-affiliated neutral havens as well. The music that you might be hearing in the background is by the composer John Broomhall. He actually composed the music for the original XCOM games in the 90s. So all of the music that was originally done for the earlier backer builds by our own in-house composer Simeon Dotkov are no longer in. So everything you will hear in Backer Build 5 will be Broomhall stuff, although there are plans to bring some of Simeon's stuff back for the finished game. Let's go ahead and start the mission. We can cancel out, but there's no point in doing that because we're part of the tutorial, so we kind of have to do what we're told. So let's go in. So carrying a handgun can be life-saving when your arm has been disabled in battle. Double-handed weapons require 2 hands to operate. That's a very important thing because in Phoenix Point there is body part targeting, and individual body parts can be injured. So if you get one of your arms disabled, you can't use a 2-handed weapon, but as pistols are one-handed, you can always use a pistol if you've got one good arm. Everyone is considered ambidextrous, so it doesn't matter whether it's your left arm or your right arm that gets disabled. So here we are. You'll notice there's been quite a lot of changes to the layout of the UI. I'm going to try not to go into too much detail with it as I go through, because I do intend to make a series of a few of these videos, so I don't want to try and cram it all into a single episode. But some of the main differences that you'll notice, the end turn button's moved over here onto the right hand side. If you want to have this free camera rotation on, you need to go into the options menu, and it is under gameplay. So it's no longer just on the little drop down there. You'll also notice that we have these little blue bars underneath all of our class icons. These represent our action points, which for the purpose of simplicity are split up into 4. So it's basically like 25, 50, 75 and 100%. And as you can see, as we move the mouse cursor around, we actually see we've got individual sort of map borders for the 25, the 50, the 75 and the 100%. Again, when it's blue, you can still use the currently selected weapon. If it's orange, you won't have enough action points to use the currently selected weapon. So even though it says you've got 4 action points down here, if you click on a soldier that's already selected, you can go into their info screen. You can actually see this soldier has 14 action points. This allows you to see their perception, their accuracy, their stealth. As you can see, there are some issues with the current interface here. We've got some text overlap in the numbers. This is all stuff that'll get fixed. And we've got a list of all our abilities here as well. We can access our inventory in the same way. If we go ahead and have a look at our sniper here, we can see our sniper. Yeah, it's all still got the same sort of issues going on. So that'll all get fixed out there. You will notice then when I clicked on a unit that we now have unit barks. There are only 2 voices at the moment, one male and one female. The male voice is actually that of Simeon Dotkov, our in-house composer and sound designer. These are just placeholders. These will be getting replaced with professional voice actors as we release the final version of the game. So we can't actually see enemies at the moment. Let's go ahead and move forwards a little bit at a time. It's always advisable to try not to trigger anything, or leave yourself with enough time units or enough action points to be able to take a shot at something should you spot it. So we do have Fog of War now in this version of Phoenix Point. But one thing that you will notice is, I know everything around the edge of the map is just grey for now, it's because we haven't put all of the skyboxes in and the extra stuff around the edge of the map that you can see where shadows are falling on grey. This will all have stuff that will fill in around the edges. You won't be able to walk in it, but it'll fill in the edges of the map. But we've added a lot more maps, we just haven't done the edge parts yet. Even though there's a Fog of War, you can see the whole map right from the very beginning. You can't see where all the enemies are, but the reason you can see the whole map is because you arrive at this site via an aircraft. So you had an aerial view when you came into land. So it makes sense that you know what the layout of the map is. Let's go ahead and try and keep our guys, or in this case our girls, in cover, in case we spot anything.
I'm listening.
Now, getting some high ground might be useful, but a lot of the high ground has been completely devastated. And we don't want to go too far forwards, but we will go ahead and get our heavy up onto this roof. So this is the Phoenix Heavy, still has a jetpack to use. And we've actually spotted our first enemy, which is a mist-spreading sentinel. It's actually miles away from us. It hasn't actually spotted us. It hasn't alerted yet. Otherwise, we'd have seen some purple alert notification above it. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Now, if you want to know who we've got left that can go on to Overwatch, we can actually look on the left-hand side here and see the action points remaining. So we know that this assault has 2 action points, and we know that it takes 2 action points to go into Overwatch. Let's go on Overwatch in this direction. I have absolutely no idea where anything's going to come from. Our sniper requires 3 action points to Overwatch with the sniper rifle, but we can switch over to the pistol. And also, if you look down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you can see we have made some changes to the way that shots and damage are represented. So the Firebird sniper rifle does 130 damage in a single bullet. And it has 6 bullets total in the weapon, in the magazine, and we have 1 extra magazine in our inventory. If we go ahead and select an assault, we can see the Ares AR-1 assault rifle does 30 damage per shot, and it has 6 shots. So basically that's 30 damage per bullet, and we fire 6 bullets in a round. And the indicator of bullets here is divided. You can see we have 5 rounds, 5 bursts of 6 rounds, and we have 1 magazine in our inventory. So you've got enough to actually go on to Overwatch as well. So let's get you overwatching in this direction. So that's 2 Overwatches on. We will go ahead and get you to select your pistol. And you can overwatch in this direction. Not that that will be great for you. We're just going to go ahead and... I think we'll end the turn here. I don't think we need to do anything with the heavy at this point. So let's end turn. So because this is a scavenging mission, the enemy will try and prioritise destroying supplies. But they're having a few issues because they're hitting cover, which is good. Cover actually works both ways. Now, we can actually see a Crabman now. He's quite a distance across the map. He has a machine gun and a grenade launcher. We might be able to hit him with our sniper here. So let's go ahead and switch back to our sniper rifle, and we will select the fire option. Now, it's a very, very long way away. We can take a shot now. You can see he's got 110 health. He's also got 10 armor, which means whatever damage we do is likely to be reduced by approximately 10. This armor value is actually an average of the armor across all of his different body parts, because different parts have different armor values. But taking this shot is only likely to do this amount of damage, because we're unlikely to really hit him. We can try and zoom in. He is behind cover. That is part of the problem. We might get lucky here and be able to try and shoot off his grenade launcher. That's always worth a go. So this is probably about as good a shot as we're going to get. I could aim further left, but then we're more likely to hit this barrel. I could aim further right, but then we're more likely to actually go wide of the target. So I'm going to go for about there, because that gives us a good chance of actually being on target. There's a little bit of a chance that we might go wide or clip the barrel, but let's roll the dice. And we did actually go wide, so that was unfortunate, but that was a very, very long range shot. It was pretty much destined to fail. We're going to move forward with this assault here. We won't be able to put her in Overwatch, but that is fine. She can still see the same target. We will move forwards with this assault and go ahead and put her into Overwatch, just in case that enemy does decide to move forwards. You are going to stand by, so it just basically means I've finished giving you orders, so stop telling me I need to give you orders. We'll move forwards a little bit with this assault, and we'll Overwatch again in this direction, just in case something comes around that corner. Although we can't really see anything with our... Let's get you to go on standby as well. We might be able to take a shot with the heavy, although we're so far away. The chances of this hitting are astronomical. I mean, again, we could roll the dice, but it's probably just going to hit anything other than the Crabman. Because our shot could land anywhere within that blue circle. But, you know, he's far enough away that he's not going to harm the heavy. The heavy can't really hit anything else, so let's just fire the shot. Oh, we actually got lucky. So RNG was on my side that time. It didn't help my sniper, but it did help my heavy. So that was good. We do still have that sentinel that we need to take out. Let's go ahead and end the turn, because there isn't really an awful lot else that we can do here. And the enemy forces decided not to do an awful lot. So we are going to start moving up. We need to be careful, because there are going to be multiple enemies on the map. I was half expecting to spot one around that side. I'm very surprised that I didn't. Let's keep moving in this direction. The layout on these scavenging maps, there's lots of corners and little tiny places to hide. So, you know, there can be enemies anywhere, really. We probably... Well, getting our sniper to high ground would be great. But there isn't really any useful high ground that we can see right now, unless we go really close to the enemy. We could go ahead and try and get our heavy over there. Not too sure if we've got enough range on the jetpack to reach that rooftop. We haven't, unfortunately. So let's just go ahead and run down here. You can hear crying in the background. This is my puppy. And she's 8 weeks old, so she's still not too sure what to make of the world at the moment. And sometimes she gets a little bit upset, so we'll have a good little play after this video. And that's about everything we can do with everyone. You do have enough time units left for an Overwatch, so we'll go ahead and reduce your cone width slightly. There's a little bit of an issue there where the cone isn't easily visible on the terrain. I can see the end of it, but that's all. So about there. So like I said, you know, there are going to be bugs and things in this. We did expect to see them. You can go on standby. All soldiers have now used their action points, so we'll go ahead and end the turn. So we heard something there, and I know what that is. There he is. Popping out some smoke there. And I don't know where he's gone. He's gone hidden around in this corner. We'll go and see if we can get a line of sight by moving around here. Now, we've actually spotted a Crabman. That wasn't the same enemy that we saw before. There is the same enemy that we saw before. Now, this, can we select him? and get some info on him. So this is a Triton. This is the new enemy that has been added in for Backer Build 5. I'm just wondering if we've got a good enough arm to lob a grenade that far. We have alerted the Crabman now. He has now spotted us. We're slightly out of range to hit that Crabman, unfortunately. But we can go ahead and hit the Triton. So let's go for a trusty grenade. Disabled his leg, disabled his head, his arm. Now, one criticism that we did have in previous builds is that once that text disappears, you don't know what's going on, but you can always go and click the info here and we can see his head, both of his legs and one of his arms is disabled. So he can no longer move, which is great for us. We do still have that Crabman to deal with. Now, I'm not sure if we can actually get a line of sight anywhere with our sniper. A sniper can't really get into an easy position to do anything. I don't really want to move him around too much on his own. We do have another assault over here. Again, we can't really get into a great position on this turn, so I think what we'll do is we'll just move forwards. We'll take up an overwatch position in case he tries to come out. Now, only the Crabman can move because we've disabled the Triton's legs. He is not going anywhere. Let's try and get some more assaults a little bit closer and into cover. We will move the sniper around because we will want to use the sniper to take some shots on the next turn if we can. And we will also go ahead and grab our heavy. And we will jetpack again. Now this does use a fair bit of our willpower. But we want to be up on some high ground so we can see what's going on. Just looking around to see where Puppa is because she's disappeared. And you can see, so there is actually another Triton there. I think that might have been the one that created this gas cloud, but it's good that we can now see where both of them are. So let's go ahead and end the turn here. Oh, there she goes. She's gone to eat some food. Good for her. Oh, well, unfortunately, we did take a little bit of damage there on this assault from that Crabman. Now, that Triton can still shoot, I believe. He might still have some abilities that he can do. And we actually take a shot, or take damage to our heavy over there. And that shot came from that other Triton that we spotted, who's now pumped out gas. Oh, we've lost our heavy. Well, that was not a great start. So these Tritons, they're really, really accurate.
Here.
Let's go ahead and see if we can get rid of the Crabman. Now, we don't have a particularly good chance to hit from there. We don't have a grenade left with this assault either. But let's go ahead and just take a shot. And there we go. We are one Crabman down.
Awaiting instructions.
Now, we don't know where this Triton is. Well, we do roughly, because he shouldn't be able to move. And we do have a grenade. So we can just lob this grenade in here to where he was last spotted. So in it goes. Well, it certainly sounds like it did some damage.
Yes.
Let's go and move forwards with our other assault. Now, we do know there's another Triton at the back now, which unfortunately we cannot see because we lost our heavy who had a line of sight.
Here.
But we're going to start moving in with our sniper. So let's end the turn there. I think he might have just bled out, actually. And we take a rather nasty shot from that other Triton that's hiding in the smoke. So you've got a bleed on you. That's a little bit unfortunate. We're just going to get you to heal yourself, actually. So heal yourself up. And if we can get vision of the Triton, it'll make life a lot easier. But yep, there we go. We can actually see where he is now. He's out through there. Is there anywhere we can get a line of sight with our sniper? Well, yep, from here we can. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a clean headshot. There we go. Disabled his head. He's bleeding. It's a reduction to willpower. And let's... where do we go from here? Really don't want to move into the mist if we can help it. So let's move around in this direction. And yeah, I guess we just end the turn. Now that Triton might take another shot at us and can do a considerable amount of damage. He did miss, luckily. He basically has a sniper rifle, so that's really good for him. It looks like he might have moved. So we're going to try and get vision of him if we can. I mean, we know roughly where he is, so even though we can't see him, We know that he's somewhere in this smoke. Approximately here. There we go. We gained some willpower, so that was a kill. So there are still some enemies on the map that we haven't dealt with yet. So we need to go and find where they are. Just keep moving forwards with everybody. We also need to take that sentinel out as well.
Ready.
I think I'll keep moving my sniper up in this direction. There might well be something else at the back of the map here. We did kill that Triton. I'm not concerned about that. Oh, it looks like it might be done here, actually. In that case, let's start getting people out through the smoke. It's okay cutting through... Well, it's not smoke, it's mist. It's okay as long as we don't stop within it. We can run through it, that's fine. As long as we don't hang around, we'll be alright. I think we will still kind of move around the edge of the map with you. Just in case there is something else over there. And we're going to need to heal these people up once we get back to base. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be an awful lot going on now, so it's probably just this sentinel that we need to take out. Our aim should be decent. Now, it is alerted. We can actually fire twice because we didn't move. So we might even be able to finish it off on this turn. Obviously, you're a little bit further away, so you actually missed a bullet there. But it was only one, I'll take it. Very, very close. His head is disabled. We can't really do an awful lot now. I'm just going to hit the end turn button here and go around to the next turn and we'll finish it off. There we go. Was that the last enemy on the map? Looks like it might have been. Yep, there it was. So we did lose our heavy. That was really, really unfortunate. But we'll head back to the geoscape. And I'm going to have to give Puppa some attention shortly because I think she's eating my chair. But I mean, that's fine. We've been going for around about 30 minutes. So all surviving crates have been recovered and the resources transferred to our stores. We didn't get any items, but we got some tech. We got some materials and we got 50 food. Excellent. So this is telling us about getting recovered items. And the next step is we need to enter the equipment section and personnel tab. But before we do that, I'm going to take a quick puppy break and I'll see you guys on the next video. So until then, goodbye for now.